This week.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight.
What do you make of this historic election result?
Not for Broadcast VR takes the gameplay, story, and gripping dark comedy of the original, award-winning FMV adventure and brings you closer to the news than ever. Get a full view of the entire newsroom, interact with your equipment, and punch, slap, and grab anything that dares to get between you and the truth. Become the protagonist in an all-new VR romance adventure game. Enjoy a life full of excitement with two charming sisters at a hot spring resort. Make love bloom in this hot spring story in full VR. And let's move on. There aren't many VR games that got the kind of attention DRUNKN bar fight got last gen. So for everyone who missed out, it's coming to PSVR2 this week. Now there's no upgrade path, so if you're looking to pick it up, it'll cost you $18. Slash and blast your way through ranks of hoodlums in a high-stakes chase through the atmospheric and meticulously recreated marketplaces, docks, alleys, and streets of Siwoon. Tiger Blade was scheduled to launch this week on November 17th, but the PlayStation Store now lists it for December 22nd. I've reached out to the developers for clarification, so we'll let you know if we hear more. This week, the developers over at Triangle Factory updated us on their upcoming PSVR2 game, Breachers. Now, we already knew it was a tactical 5v5 game, similar to others that we've seen, but with the ability to climb, vault, rappel, and swing your way to victory. And luckily, it looks like the PSVR2 version will be the best looking and playing version yet, as revealed in this week's graphical comparison video. PSVR2 will feature better shadows, lighting, textures, and run at a native 120 Hz.
As well as dust particles floating through the air adds to the visual fidelity of the scene. For PC and PSVR2, we took things further by adding effects like bloom. This results in a bright, glowing illumination to bright areas, meaning light and muzzle flashes have never looked better. In some maps, we added extra details to make them more dynamic as a whole. Hideout, for instance, has extra grass, weeds, falling leaves, and birds outside, while on the inside we added a delicate fog effect. Here we also opted for bicubic shadow map sampling to make shadows look a lot sharper. In terms of frame rate, we can confirm that PSVR2 runs natively at 120 Hz, no reprojection. We're looking forward to bringing you these enhancements, and stay tuned for the competitive update.
Let the battle commence!
Demeo Battles is a competitive PvP turn-based strategy game. Choose your champion, assemble an army of monstrous minions, and team up with your fellow champions in a quest for turn-based glory. If you're jealous that the Steam and Quest users got Demeo Battles last week, well, don't worry, it's coming to PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2 next year.
Let me at 'em!
I wish you luck.
Vertigo Games dropped a new 7th Guest update this week, and while the often complained about contrast is still the same, the graphics are much sharper, and it sounds like they've included some additional haptics as well.
You? The time's not been kind to you, eh?
The 7th Guest wasn't the only game to get a resolution boost this week. PEAKY Blinders The King's Ransom, which we criticized at launch for being really blurry, now looks pretty damn clear. The downside is that the reprojection is extremely noticeable, and it's impossible to ignore all the ghosting.
It was wrong last night. It's Churchill's dispatch box, stuffed with government secrets. Now God forbid it falls into the wrong hands, which is where we come in.
The long-awaited wheel support finally came to Galaxy KART this week. Now, I'm using the G29 racing wheel, and it honestly feels like real go-kart racing. Not every wheel seems to have gotten the same support though, as VR Monkey's still waiting for SDKs from Thrustmaster. It still has some jank and some bugs to work out, but the 3 new tracks that came with the update are surprisingly fun to play. Compound's a randomized roguelite free-roaming shooter for VR vets. Duck and dodge around enemy fire in a tough-as-nails retro first-person shooter. Prepare to die? A lot, until you're good enough to reach the heart of the corporation. And this week, the one-man team over at Not Dead Games tweeted that the PSVR2 version is mostly finished. Every week, our good friend Professor Lilith organizes a multiplayer meetup over on our Discord. It happens every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and this week we'll be playing 2-player co-op and 4-player horde mode Crossfire Sierra Squad. If you can't make this week's meetup, don't worry, it happens every Sunday at the same time. So, make sure you click the link in the description below. Come join our Discord.
This week.